Well, this is a very, very special show for me. Right here next to me, I have my son, Shane Stuart. Shane?
I'm excited to be here, Papa.
I'm excited to be here too. And he's not that much older than me. Mentally, I'm talking about. Age-wise, I'm older, but mentally... Anyway, I'm telling you.
And you know what's so great? These are the jokes I've been hearing forever, man. So, you know what? They just keep getting better and better and better. I love it.
This is just like home?
Oh, this is just like home.
This is what they call a home movie.
You know how to settle me in.
Yeah, this is a home movie.
Yeah.
Anyway, Shane now is, we've been through a lot, haven't we? Huh?
We have.
We have? And we came here.
39 years.
Yeah. How many years?
39.
Oh, you are older than me.
Yeah.
For sure. Anyway, so Shane came from Orange County with us, born at the St. Joseph Hospital, right?
Yep.
In Orange County. And I came to Vegas on May 5th, 1983, right?
Yep.
And you were only like 5 years old?
Yep.
Yeah. We moved into the Imperial Palace, and we were there about 4.5 years, right?
That's right.
That's right.
Yep.
And so in being there, you went through Las Vegas. You were introduced to the Las Vegas market. Wow.
Yeah.
The big thing.
Lived in a hotel.
We lived in the hotel at the Imperial Palace.
Yeah.
Absolutely. With Ralph Engelstadt and all the people. And so it was an exciting time. We were out by the pool every day, and we were here and there, and you were going to school, and we did all the fun things. It was quite a fun time, wasn't it?
It was a good time.
About 4.5 years we lived at the Imperial Palace. And you went to school here in town. You went to Bishop Gorman School for a while, right? And most of the time it was a reform school, but other than that, you were in Bishop Gorman, you know, when it wasn't reform school.
Right.
So anyway, so you had some fun things here, and what was the most fun thing you thought about it? You know, tell me what you thought. This is a chance for you to share the horrible things about me to my public.
I had the best childhood ever growing up, because number one, I had my dad, who is referred to as Showtime. Now, just like you see now, same do, except you had a lot more gold back then. I mean, you had a big... No. You have a little gold now. And that's good. You're taming it down as you're getting older. You're learning. You're zenning out. But you had this big gold chain that said Legends in Concert in diamonds across your chest.
By the way, I still have that.
You do?
Yeah, I still have it.
And you drove a Rolls Royce. Convertible Rolls Royce.
Actually, I let your mom drive the Rolls Royce, and I drove a Jaguar.
And oh yeah, that's right.
That's right.
Well, you know, you get lost in the experience. I didn't appreciate it back then like I would now, knowing what a Rolls Royce actually is. But it was, you gave us a beautiful life growing up. We got to travel all over the world. We got to go on boat cruises. We lived on a ranch with, 36 Arabian horses, which we never rode, but they were beautiful to look at. And we had all the toys and gadgets, and it was definitely a fun time.
It was, wasn't it?
Yes,
well, thank you. I'm so glad you loved it. Okay. Yeah. All right. Well, the fact is that you got through all that, and this is when I remember all your friends. Okay.
Oh yeah.
These are all your friends.
Every time we wanted to do anything, we take them to your show.
They all went to the show.
Every homecoming and prom was sitting in that seat.
We can see you. Look at that. Look at that pompous hairdo you got there. More like your dad there.
I wish I still had that right there.
Yeah. Okay. And over here is Corey, your other brother,
my bro,
and a son. And these are all your friends. Name your friends. So you remember all those guys?
That is Jeremiah, who I'm still friends with, and Adam, and Nathan, and Yancey, and I don't know his name, and that's myself.
And Wild Shane, right there. Shane. You can see all these pictures. So I remember all these kids growing up around the ranch and everywhere that there was. I would take you out on Jeep rides, right? Remember the Jeep rides?
The craziest Jeep rides ever. I think back now. I mean, I just can't believe those Jeep rides went down.
Yeah.
The amount of times we almost died and slid off a cliff is one too many. But here we are to tell the tale, and somebody was watching over us, and it was fun.
Well,
little did all those parents know that when those kids got into that Jeep, literally there was lives at risk. But
well, you went up to L.A. and lived up in L.A. for a while near our friend Steve Martin and other people that we knew up there, and you worked and played around with lots of different things up there, and then you ended up also doing something that somehow, some way, you got involved in the food business, right? The food business. How did you get involved in the food business?
I got involved in the food business because when I was living in LA and I was working in film, to help supplement my income, I got a job working for Vitamix.
That's right.
And I was shooting these projects. I don't know if you remember, but when I was in the film business, right after you and I did this amazing documentary together, I worked on that show called Local Hero. And it was that was my last like film experience that I had that was absolutely amazing before
Tell
I
them
dived.
about that documentary a little bit. It was a lot of fun. We traveled all over doing it. Tell them about it.
So my dad and I did a documentary called Heart of the King. And Heart of the King was about the worst Elvis impersonators on the planet. This was a Netflix feature.
Careful,
So
they could be watching.
Huh?
They could be watching.
No, it is what it is now. That's how it's described in the description of the film and everything.
Okay.
But what Heart of the King is they didn't have the look, they didn't have the voice, but they had the heart. To pursue and do what they love. And I really...
And we still love those guys.
Oh yeah, we love
do.
everybody.
We love you forever.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I really wanted to do a documentary on those guys instead of the best guys, because growing up with you as your son, I got to witness many, many times Elvis impersonators. Like I remember one time we walked out of P.F. Chang's, and an Elvis impersonator intercepted us on our way to our car and started busting out Elvis moves. I think even one time when I was working with you at Onstage Entertainment, there was an Elvis waiting out in front of your office with a shotgun waiting for you to come to work.
Because he didn't get hired.
Because he didn't get hired. And when I was shooting this documentary, I can't tell you how many times, for the first and foremost, let me put it out there, anytime an Elvis learned that I was Jon Stewart's son, he was like, "Oh my God, man, I love your dad. He's the most amazing guy around." But sometimes they would be like, "Jon Stewart's your dad? 14 years I've auditioned for this guy. I've never gotten a job once on stage." And you know what? You had your standards. You actually
went and defended me against that guy. You went and chased him away, as I recall.
Yeah, I went out to the car and I went out to the car with a PVC pipe or something like that. I forgot what it was. Yeah.
Anyway, so you protected me from the Elvises that didn't get what they thought they deserved, right?
Correct.
All right. So anyway, I would have to say you grew up all shook up.
Yeah,
No, they were all
like
shook
that.
up.
I like that.
Somebody was all shook up.
Yeah,
right?
That's a good one.
But I want to say this, that even though you were all shook up, today you are nothing but a hound dog.
Oh, thank you.
Okay, now we got that out of the way. I've used all my Elvis dialogue.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure you have a lot more, but...
Okay, and so during that time, somehow with our brother Danny, my brother Danny, and so forth, you got involved with the Vitamix, which is a blending machine that mixes all kinds of vegetables and nuts and whatever else you got, and makes a juice out of it or something like that. You can make soup out of it. You can do anything you want with a Vitamix. You can see them online.
Right.
Okay? And you became quite good at that. You became tremendous. You were one of their best salesmen, as I recall.
I got the award for Best Salesman in 2011.
Yeah,
For
and so everything was great, but somehow it got you interested in actual food that made you better. It made you prosper emotionally and physically, because you got into foods that meant more to you other than just a hamburger all the time or just something that that wasn't great. And somehow you really mastered that. You got into it. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
To you, it became a big deal. I was shocked that it became more important to you making people healthier and making your life better and doing this food thing than even the movies or anything else. Because you was in another movie called Self-Medicated with Monty.
Yeah.
Right? What's Monty's full name?
Monty LaPica.
Yeah, Monty LaPica. We love you, Monty. He's like a stepson to me.
Love you, Mont.
Yeah, we do. And the fact is that you got into that, and you are a tremendous actor. We did another movie down in St. George area called, what was that?
Well, I try not to bring that one up.
Yeah,
but
it's
that
a
one's
good
called,
movie.
It's not that
I've
good of a
seen it.
movie.
Yeah. Listen,
It's called Shadowhawk.
We got into all kinds of things. We love Shadowhawk too. We love everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're good people, and you got into this food thing,
We're good people.
and you started that. So tell us how you went from the movies into the food thing. We did these films. You was around entertainment all the time. You were always a guy that was out front. So how did you get into the food stuff to take it to another level? Because you left Vitamix to go do your own thing.
Mm-hmm. Well, when I was working for Vitamix, I kept on getting feedback from customers that were coming up and going, "You are so good on stage, you're so good at delivering your message, your recipes are so amazing, you need to not work for this company." I mean, person after person were planting seeds that I started to begin to believe. And after,
But it is a good company. Vitamix is a great company.
we don't need all the disclaimers. Everyone we talk about, we love.
That's
but I'm
right.
just trying to get the story out there. So I decided to not work for Vitamix anymore, and to go do my own thing. And it was great because as soon as I decided to leave Vitamix, I got this deal with Downtown Project, Tony Shea and the Zappos, and revitalizing downtown. And they gave me an opportunity to open up my very own restaurant for the first time. Nicole Hester was my partner, and Downtown Project were 50-50 partners on that restaurant. And there I got to explore and use all my ideas of making drinks and soups and working with local farms and working with organic ingredients and superfoods. And then that led into me working with nonprofit organizations that are here in Las Vegas. So Create a Change Now, Melissa Blinn, I love you. She got me all set up with the elementary schools, and I created a program called Kids Kitchen that I still do to this day, where we raise money for school gardens, and then chefs go into the schools and they teach kids how to work with the vegetables and make all kinds of cuisine using plant-based foods. That is it's an incredible project that also has brought me to the prison systems as well, where we're teaching health and wellness with my buddy Dre Gardner, who does yoga, and Rafi and all these other incredible influencers in town, where it's just raising the vibration in our town. And so health and wellness in Las Vegas, you don't usually associate health and wellness with Las Vegas. And to be quite honest, although Las Vegas has taken quite a turn from when I first moved back here, I don't know how long ago that was, maybe 8 years ago from LA, it still has a long ways to go. In LA, you have a vegan restaurant on every single corner. You have vegetarian restaurants all over the place. When a new vegetarian restaurant opens, people come swarming in. And especially if you attach the word organic to it, then you have something that is to be desired by everybody in that town. But Vegas, you kind of have to ease your way in there. It's definitely is not receptive as I hoped that it would be, but I'm always patient and hope that Vegas and the community will, wise up and catch up with the times, take care of their bodies a whole lot better. And once they do, I have my new restaurant that's ready to go, Panacea, that's actually doing pretty well. Our burger, that when I opened this place, the burger was just one thing on the menu with many other items, but the burger ended up being so good that now this place has turned into a burger joint. Now I have French fries, I have coconut milk milkshakes, I have 5 different kinds of burgers.
Well, why don't we show some pictures of some of the stuff you got? You got that, Scott? And tell them about that burger. It's not just a burger, it's a special burger. What is it made out of?
The burger patty is made with farro, black beans, mushrooms, walnuts, truffle oil, truffle salt, Himalayan pink rock salt.
Not a normal burger.
Not a normal burger.
Okay, here we go. So we got some pictures. Is that the audience to see it bigger than that?
You want me to full screen it?
Yeah, full screen it as much as you can, yeah. Okay, so we can see, there you go, that's perfect. Okay, can you keep us in there too? On that side? Okay. Oh, I see what you're saying. You got to go one way or the other, huh? Okay, you got it. Okay, well, that's good enough right there. That's perfect, okay? Okay, so tell us about that burger, Shaner. You notice I said Shaner, kind of a little nickname.
That's my
Shaner.
nickname. That's also my email. Shaner702@gmail.com.
Is it really?
Yeah.
If you want to get him, Shaner, SHANER,
7.
only one N?
Yeah.
At what?
Gmail.com.
At gmail.com. Okay, now, here's the front of your restaurant with a lot of people out there.
That's in Boca Park, next to Cheesecake Factory off of Charleston, Fort Apache.
Okay, right next to the Cheesecake Factory. It's a beautiful location. People all over the place.
And those are spirulina pancakes. Those are coming to our menu for our Saturday, Sunday brunch.
This is the Beverly Hills of Las Vegas, believe me. Okay.
And those are our garden nachos piled high with every kind of veggie. That cheese on top is made with cashews, nutritional yeast, made to taste exactly like cheese. Buffalo cauliflower wings. When you try those things, deep fried buffalo cauliflower with the sauce and a ranch that we make with cashews is absolutely incredible. I actually put 2 in there, but those are the nachos again. I probably put them in there because everyone loves them.
Okay, is there any more pictures? Is that it? You got more? Okay. All right, so we got all those there. What are all those drinks? What are those drinks made out of? They taste so good, you can hardly stand it. It's awesome. What is those drinks made out
You're a
of?
good salesman.
Yeah, go ahead. Tell me what those are made out of.
Well, those drinks are made with, superfoods, fruits, vegetables mixed together.
Everything is healthy.
Everything's healthy.
Yeah, I see people come in there like the droves. They just love this food.
Yeah.
Okay, so Panacea. Can we go back to that shot there? Panacea, right there. Blow that one up there. There we have Panacea, right next to the Cheesecake Factory, right before you get to Tivoli Village at Boca Park. And it is fabulous, isn't it?
Thank you.
And it's got the Cheesecake Factory, then a place called The Mix, right?
Yep.
Then right next to that is Panacea. And there you are. Now you went from downtown, and that place downtown was a great place. People loved it too. Right there on 6th Street.
Yeah.
And that was called what?
Grassroots.
Grassroots.
Yeah.
Man, people loved it. And that got you a great start because you were so good at what you did, you know, and you were so honest about it. But you know the main thing that I'm proud of that you do? Like you said, you go out to the prisons, you go out to the schools, and you go everywhere you can, and you try to share your benefit of knowing about these foods and everything with lots of people.
Yeah.
In fact, what are we doing on Thanksgiving Day?
Thanksgiving Day with my buddy Dan Van Dan. He's been doing this for I think 11 years, called Gobble Gobble Give, and I've worked with him for the last 6 years. Last year we fed 2,000 homeless people. Downtown Project is kind enough to give us a parking lot called the Llama Lot, located directly across the street from Atomic Liquor, and there we have live music. Volunteers come out like you can't believe. Food is cooked by the Mandalay Bay, all these big restaurants. These chefs come and donate their time to make sure they can help us cook all the turkeys, and we fed about 2,000. We fed 2,000 people last year, is what the count was.
Am I helping you get tables again this year?
Please,
You
every
need to
single
remind
year,
me.
you've gotten us the tables and chairs.
Lots of tables
From
and
where?
chairs.
Let's give them a plug.
Well,
Was
I'm
it-
not sure where I get them now. I think it's
it
Las
the party?
Vegas Party.
Yeah.
You know, but the fact is that they also have clothes there for a lot of these people. And so your mother, Alex, she loves going there and helping people, and so does John Michael, your
Yeah.
brother. So we're going to go down with you and spend the day with you.
Yeah.
And how many workers do you have down there? About how many? 200? How many people down there helping do all this?
There's hundreds. There's a lot of people.
And there's a lot of people so thankful that you do this, and that's what's good. And this hamburger that you're talking about over at the Panacea, that hamburger won, like you mentioned a little bit, but you didn't really plug it like you should. That won the best hamburger in Las Vegas.
Not yet.
It hasn't?
No.
What did it win?
It's right now. It's up for best hamburger in Las Vegas.
Up for best hamburger in Las Vegas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's up for best hamburger in the best of Las Vegas, and that's going against.
That's Review Journal, right?
Yeah,
okay.
Review Journal,
And-
and that's going against the top burger places on the Strip all over town, and all those burgers have a patty of actual beef in it. So we're the only burger on that in that competition that does not have meat.
The only burger of all the burgers that are being challenged for the competition, and that's the only one that isn't actually include meat in it.
Right.
Tell them one more time what your burger consists of.
Farro black beans, mushrooms, walnuts, truffle oils, Himalayan salt, quinoa.
I wouldn't know it didn't have meat. I think it tastes awesome.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's
good.
great. Okay.
But I'll tell you, what inspired me to, I would say first and foremost, to always go off and do my own thing is the whole time that I was growing up, I always watched you do your own thing. I'd never seen you once work for anybody else but yourself. And even John Michael, I think, in a combination of really what set the structure of, or the foundation of me and my ideals and how I want to live my life, was you always being an entrepreneur, but a creative entrepreneur. And John Michael, my brother, being a public speaker, using his handicap to overcome adversity.
He has cerebral palsy,
Cerebral
but he
palsy.
overcomes it awesomely.
He's an
doesn't
incredible author. He's a great public speaker, and first and foremost, that guy has inspired me beyond belief. To that's where I think the schools, the prisons, working with the homeless, all that stuff comes from. Is also being brought up in a beautiful family with an incredible mother that has always, put everyone else first above herself. And
Mother named Alex, a beautiful, beautiful girl.
yeah, best mama in the world.
Yeah, married to me since I was 20 years old.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm going to let her out of the bedroom next week. She's never been out yet, but this will be the first time she sees daylight.
You let her out of the floor. We had a floor basement. She got to see the light for the first time. But yeah, I mean, definitely going.
Thank you, Shane.
Yeah,
I
you're
appreciate
welcome.
it. Your dad loves you for that.
Yeah, well, I love you, man. And I mean, even now, you're definitely a guy that always is going for, you know what you're good at, and you always stick with it. And your talents are this, being on this show. I mean, when you told me you had your own talk show, immediately I wasn't like, oh brother, here goes my dad. I was like, oh yeah, of course he has his own talk show. Like, I knew that you'd be a natural at that. And I think that's what is, for me, that is my greatest attribute. For me, is my gift of gab. So if I take my greatest talent, which is to be able to speak in front of people without flinching, and then combine that with the passion of finding some drive that I see the world, regardless if it was global warming or feeding the homeless, or I mean, whatever it might be, saving the planet, saving people's health, whatever it would be. I took that talent and transcended that into a career for myself, and it's been it's amazing doing what you love. Even film, when I first told you that when I was in high school, obviously I had a very hard time in school. I had a hard time paying attention in class. I mean, I don't feel like school was really built for me to sit there in front of a teacher with a textbook as we're sitting there for an hour, and then hour after hour after hour, I would lose my mind. So I got into things. That's where the movie Self-Medicated come from. It was a true story of my friends and I growing up in Las Vegas, and it was my bestest friend, Monty LaPica, wrote this movie as kind of closure to his life of letting the world know, it's like, listen, we're all human. Here's a coming of age story of how someone can make wrong decisions but still be a good person at the same time.
Can they see this movie somewhere? Is it on?
Yeah, it's on Apple.com. It used to be on Netflix. It's not there anymore. Heart of the King is also on Apple TV.
Apple TV. Do people? I'm not knowledgeable of that too much. Can people turn into Apple TV and see the movie?
Yeah, you have to rent it.
Just put in the name.
Yep, Self-Medicated.
Self-Medicated. Yeah. Okay. And then the other
I'll tell you what was great. Yesterday I had a party of 12 at my restaurant, and somehow we started talking about Heart of the King, and the guy, I mean, this does not happen often, that's why I'll even bring this story up. The guy sitting at the table, I was telling a story, and he goes, you gotta be kidding me. He goes, that movie with the Elvises, that was you? And I go, yeah. And he goes, and he started, and in my mind, I was like, he doesn't have the right movie. He's not talking about the same movie. He goes, dude, those characters, Mark and Danny, that little kid, little E. He goes, dude, I cried my eyes out, man. He goes, I wanted so bad when those guys went to Vegas for them to go home and win the trophy of the best Elvises. And but
he saw it several times, probably.
Three times, he said. 3 times.
Oh my gosh.
He saw it. But yeah, that was an amazing project to get to work on with you, just to have that father and son relationship, getting to work on something finally. And it did. We saw it to the very end, and it came out, I think it came out great. For our first movie, we did a good job, man.
We did. Thank you, buddy. Thank you.
Yeah,
I was in the movie.
You were all throughout the movie. Well, the movie was loosely based on you, to be honest. Yeah.
Anyway, that was great, and so was the Self-Medicated and that. And these kind of things, somehow it's allowed you to step out of yourself, to overcome yourself in a lot of areas.
Let me ask you, what is it, tell me your thoughts on how come you never got a regular job? How come you always just did what you loved when you knew what you're good at? What doesn't allow you to sit in a cubicle or go to work and collect a 9-to-5 paycheck? What has stopped you your whole life from doing that?
It's mainly because I was so stupid and not smart enough to actually be able to overcome myself, so no one hired me. That was it.
No, honestly.
Honestly.
Yeah.
Listen, for some reason I have 9 brothers and sisters, and I have been in the entertainment business ever since I was 5.
Yeah.
So I've been out in front of people and doing things, and I've just always felt like if I put my mind to it, and if I cared enough about something, I could find some creative way to implement that in my life and to overcome it. That's why I personally have done probably 300 and some musicals and been entertainment director for amusement parks and had a theater in Orange County, and all these things. You had to hire creative people like yourself. You worked with me in Orange County too at Wild Bill's.
Yep.
You know, so I've always just been out there working with lots of people and working around people like Steve Martin and Goldie Hawn and these kind of people. And so for some reason that puts some kind of blood in you that allows you to push forward and just be different. Just try to overcome things and try to be somebody that is helping people. But you took it to another level. You took it to the level of making sure that you're actually, I'm trying to help people mentally, but you help people mentally and physically because of what you do with your product and your food, and you make it taste so good. I know John Michael, every time he talks about it, he says, man, if I want to have a real good meal, I got to go to Shane's restaurant, Panacea. Does Panacea have a website?
Yeah, Panacea,
tell them about that.
PanaceaLV.com is our website.
Yeah, maybe you could put that up there, Scott. PanaceaLV.com. So I'm glad that you picked some of the positive things out of that.
Yeah.
You know, you grew up.
I would say that especially Legends in Concert, I mean, for a lot of people to be able to have that flashback of seeing Elvis on stage, Janis Joplin, the Beatles. I mean, obviously I appreciate them because I know who they are and I know what legends they are, and I do appreciate their work. But for the people that grew up with those icons and then going to the stage and watch them recreated like you recreated them, had to be some therapy for a lot of people.
Well, actually, and it's still going on. You know, Legends in Concert that we opened in May 5th, 1983, and then we moved you from Orange County, Villa Park, down here to the hotel where we stayed for 4.5 years before we bought the Legends Ranch. And even the Legends Ranch was a place where everybody went to, right?
Yeah.
We had giant events and conventions and all kinds of stuff out there. And the Legends is now the longest running show in the history of Las Vegas. It's now a little over 27 years, and so it's been a big thing that's out there and doing it. And now I'm into all kinds of other different things as well. But I appreciate you recognizing that and knowing it, and yet at the same time, in your own fashion, you did the same type of thing. In the food business, you've turned it almost into an entertainment business. You're out speaking, you're out motivating, you're out picking the right types of things. I go in your place, and it's different than walking into a normal restaurant. It has a lot of flair to it. It has a whole different things, and it's kind of I don't know if I want to use the word cult, but a lot of people, once they go there, they stay there.
Yeah.
They come back and back. I see a lot of the same people every time I go. And it's just a fantastic thing to do. And right now, you're even doing something so different. You're headed to a major tour, going to where? Where are you headed recently? You're headed in a short distance.
To Peru?
To Peru.
Yeah.
You're headed to Peru. And why are you going to Peru?
I'm going to Peru on a retreat called the Warrior Retreat that was designed and founded by my very good friend Brandon Collinsworth, who is an athlete who's sponsored by Nike. He actually helped bring yoga to Nike, and he has a gym here called Real Results. But
is he going with you?
He's going with me. He's been doing this. This is, I think, his 4th retreat where he's bringing people there. But we're going in. So as I dive deeper into food, I'm learning. I mean, first of all, what really got me excited about food in general was I've always been into conspiracy theories. I've always been into what are the chemtrails, what is government really about, who's running the show, and I've definitely let loose, even if any of that stuff is true. I've realized I can't exercise my energy spending time with that anymore. But when I started diving into that, I started learning about these alternative health clinics that are popping up all over the world except the United States. So I've learned, like, there's this one place in Tijuana called the Gerson Clinic, and people will go to San Diego, go through a whole process of evaluation to see if they could even go to the clinic. I mean, you think, oh my gosh, people are going to Tijuana to cure cancer, heart disease, sugar diabetes, but it's the closest one right there to the border in the western region.
But you have a feeling for that, and you believe in a lot of that, right?
No, I know it's true.
Oh, you know it's true?
Yeah. The outcome now, it's just true. It's just evidence that we have the pharmaceutical companies that are here making billions and billions of dollars of telling people that that has nothing to do with your health, that you take a pill to cure an ill, and we've been buying it for way too long. Now, because of TV and Netflix and these documentaries that are coming out, well, first and foremost, because of social media and the internet and the information that is exchanged on such an incredibly fast pace that we're now learning how to take control of our own health without having these medical physicians intrude in our personal lifestyle. So in Peru, they've been making this stuff for some time that people have been going kind of under the radar to help themselves, not health-wise, but mentally, spiritually, PTSD, and drug addiction, all these other kinds of things. And so I heard about this drink called ayahuasca, and I had some friends that were a part of it, that were partaking in it, and they were like, Shane, you're not going to believe it. This stuff is the most incredible thing ever. It doesn't have any side effects.
And it's a drink, right?
It's a drink, and it's done in a ceremonial, like the tribes come down and they do these beautiful ceremonies and lead the ceremonies with music. And when people are going through it, they're going back. So what's very interesting is what we latch onto. It's like when the first time we had our heart broken is when we were a child. The first time we were ashamed. The first time we were scared. The first time we felt abandoned. And these little seeds that are planted in our youth set the stage for the rest of our decisions, our fears, our inhibitions for the rest of our life. And so this stuff, for some reason, one way or another, I mean, there's a lot of science behind it that I can go into, and I do understand it, that it allows you to go back into that instant when that incident took place and allow you to forgive it and to let it go. And so I've been, just like I'm into plants for health and wellness, I'm learning that plants are not just here for health and wellness, but there's an incredible intelligence that goes along with being a plant. And that also has really brought me out of the vegan philosophy. I've always been into the idea of that human beings, if we could avoid it, shouldn't eat plants. Shouldn't eat animals, that we should eat plants so we can get everything from plants. But as I started learning more and more about plants are just as alive as any other living thing on the planet. And to think of plants as our allies, as healers, as teachers, is a conversation that is happening more and more and more and more. And so I have the opportunity of going to Peru and helping to make a documentary to highlight this subject. And there has been, like Joe Rogan, the UFC, the guy that runs Fear Factor, and he has the Joe Rogan show, very, very popular guy, also commentator on UFC, did a beautiful documentary on Netflix called DMT, The Spiritual Molecule, which brought a lot of attention to this subject matter. But with the tribes and stuff people I've been working with, it's taking a completely different approach of why this time now is this medicine coming into Western culture, and how is it being looked upon, and what is the information that is being shed to bring people into this new philosophy of healing that has been around for tens of thousands of years, since the beginning of man. You look at any tribes, you look at the Indians who have peyote, and they've been doing it forever, going into plants to help heal themselves, to help align themselves. And so anyway, I just think it's fascinating. And being that I've been into plants for 15 years, from the aspect of healing, I'm very excited to be able to work on this project.
So when do you leave to go to Peru?
I leave December 2nd, and I'll be there in the jungle for 18 days.
When you say in the jungle, what do you mean by that? Are you really in a jungle, going to tribes, or going to something like that?
I am jumping in a boat, and I'm going 45 minutes down the Amazon River, and then hiking and trekking into the middle.
Is this dangerous?
No, people do it all the time.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, there's actually this amazing documentary about this. What is he? He's a God.
He'll come to you in a second.
Yeah. But he ran a hedge fund. He had lots and lots.
How many people are going with you other than your friend?
There's 12 people going.
12 people going on this thing, and they're down there. It's amazing, and I compliment you for this. And it's over and above what I've gone to take in something like that too. But in meditation, in self-correction, medically, physically, and everything, you're into the emotion and the self-preservation of your mind, and what makes people tick, and why did this person do that? Much more than I am. You know that. once in a while we've had a little tiff because you've tried to tell me something, but I'm so buried in what I already am that I say, I don't know if I know about that or not. I'm
You know
not
what?
against it,
No,
and
no,
I've
no.
never once came after you that I was against
No.
it, but I haven't been educated. I haven't had those experiences that you've had. My experiences are, if you tell me something that could threaten me, I just make a face, do a little dance, and walk away.
Yeah.
Right? It's
Yeah.
a little different.
Yeah.
But you are a serious-minded person that has become extremely knowledgeable and experimental in all these things, which I compliment you for tremendously.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm hoping that you're there to protect me. It's okay. I'm okay because he's going to protect me.
You are good, man.
Huh? You're going to protect me.
You could actually, there's not too many people like you. You could have a war going on around you, and you're so focused in your world on what you're doing, you wouldn't even notice the bullets whizzing by your head.
Oh no, I would bite them.
Yeah.
I think I'd bite.
It's the truth. But yes, I do believe, I mean, you've always been spiritual. We've grown up, I mean, we weren't really so much into the Mormon church until after I left. I mean, it was always talked about, and it just wasn't a daily practice that we had in our home, but it turned into a big practice for you after I left LA. You know, I was there for almost 13 years while you and Mom, you know, got Ariel and Chance, and two girls that you brought in to your household later on after your other children were all grown up. You took care of these two new girls, and you really decided to make spirituality a focal point of your house. And while I was in LA, I didn't really have too much of that, but I honestly contribute eating healthy and taking care of myself to becoming a more spiritual person, because as I started thinking about really what it comes down to is self-love. The more you think about yourself, the more you think about your health, your body, your mind, your environment, everything around you, that really is what embodies spirituality. And then you hear about, from reading books and educating yourself, all these different healing modalities that exist all over the world. And some resonate with some resonate with others, and you kind of put together a collection of things that make you happy as a daily part of your practice. And for me, it has been definitely meditation, eating healthy, reading on a daily basis spiritual books, not drinking alcohol, not because I think it's a sin, because I think it is damaging to your body and it lowers your vibration. And if you could do anything, if you can only put in good thoughts, good feelings, good shows, good music, I mean, you're living a life well lived.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, you're doing that, and you certainly are making it do. And I know John Michael, your brother, he admires you for it.
Oh, John
And
Michael's something else.
He is something else himself.
Let me tell you guys something. John Michael, this guy was born with cerebral palsy, had everything going against him as far as, like, here I was talking about, I can't operate in school because I can't pay attention. Here's a guy that has a hard time even picking up a pencil, to where he had an apparatus that went around his head with a thing, I think they called a pecker.
You
I mean,
type
maybe,
like this.
maybe there's a better name for it than a pecker, but he typed in each word, and he got so good at doing that I mean, this guy was writing full term papers by using his neck like a chicken and typing his whole thing. And also, he developed a tool which was, he was able, I don't think he was born with this gift, but he developed it over time of being able to read something and created like a photographic memory where he could
Awesome.
remember each page, what word, what was talked about, and on what, you know, in what chapter, without even having to go back and scan it. And
You got a master's degree at UNLV.
Yeah, master's degree,
in social services.
yeah, an incredible guru or teacher or role model for me is definitely that guy.
Right, and he
Yeah.
works now at Ruby Thomas Elementary, and actually is a consultant for several other elementary schools. But believe me, you are certainly a person that he idolizes. He respects the direction you have gone, and it's amazing how you've carried this kind of a mission to try to help people become better as you help yourself become better. And it went from the food thing into the mental thing, and I could see how you put it all together in one package of self-completion to help people to overcome their self through doing things properly. And the food thing became a mission for you.
Yeah.
And not only that, the main thing, it became a mission for others because you shared it with so many
And you
others.
know how it becomes a mission? Exactly how yours became a mission. By you doing it, people confirm that you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
And that confirmation, which is, some people say, oh, who cares what people think, you don't need confirmation, but I think the universe has a very beautiful way of letting you know that you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing. And I definitely receive that confirmation on a day-to-day basis in a very humble way of that what I'm doing now is a lifelong goal of mine to continue to pursue until it's over. I'm sure there's going to be lots of other fun things I get to do along the way, but health and wellness is probably what I'm going to be doing until the day I die, like you with shows. But John Michael ended up being such an amazing warrior because of you. He watched you your whole time growing up. Our whole time growing up, our role model, our father, who we had to look to, was the guy that was waking up every single morning, sometimes 3:30 in the morning, because he had shows all over the world. Everyone was on a different time zone, and all day long, Johnny, 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 on your phone, doing your thing, and you never get tired, you never complain. And we were talking about good thoughts, meditation, good food. The one thing you never do is, even when it gets really, really low, you'll never let them peek in to see how low it really is. And even though we do know, and so when we know, and you tell us everything's great, the message in that is, that's what it's all about. Yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell you one thing. Somehow, there's no one that can help you overcome yourself more than you, right?
That's
you
right.
have to do it.
Yeah.
You can get examples from people, and you can share experiences with people. But when you actually close the closet door, it's you. You're in there, and you have to be able to say, hey, what can I do to make this better? What can I do to make the people around me happier?
Yeah.
What can I do to keep this lady that I've been with for over 50 years, what can I do to keep her happy?
You know what?
And as you said, she's a beautiful lady.
I got to say something on that one too, because I guarantee you don't have this come up on your show, if ever. It's probably the first time now. But you take, and I'm going to bring this up because of what just happened in the news and what is transpiring in Hollywood right now. All these sexual assault cases are unfolding, are coming out all over the place. And it's something that, me living in LA, I know that has been a problem for some time, but never talked about. And you have this guy, Harvey Weinstein, who's one of the greatest, most influential producers on the planet. He's up for rape charges. What he's been doing with women is just insane. But you had yourself in a similar situation where you had the most beautiful girls, showgirls around you all the time, throwing themselves at you, entertainers. And even if it wasn't because your large biceps, they knew that they needed, you were going to you could have put them in shows, you could have made them the star, you could have put the spotlight on them. So you were having these women throw themselves at you all the time. But that was another great lesson that you taught us, is that you found the love of your life, and she just stayed the love of your life through thick and thin, regardless of what kind of growth you two had to go through with one another. It's pretty inspiring to watch you guys now at this later stages in your life, cuter than you've ever been, more in love than you've ever been, and just even you as a solid individual. Like I just told you, I stopped drinking because of my vibration, but you just never drank, period. Just was never a thing for you. And so even though you obviously, and I know you're gonna have a joke for this, you probably do have your weaknesses somewhere. You probably do have your weaknesses somewhere, but but as far as physically, mentally, you have your way of keeping yourself strong and striving and going forward.
Well, I appreciate that. I do. But I give a lot of credit to Alex also, because she is a wonderful person. And as you said a little bit earlier, she's a wonderful mother and a wonderful person. And so we include requests for our Father in heaven every single day, that we can keep our mental ability, that we can bless people that are mean, that they will get better, and make the ones that are good to continue to be stronger, and to overcome ourselves as well as our children, be able to reach the levels that they want to reach in things, and do that. And it's a great thing. Where do you currently right now, Shane, speak? If people wanted to have a great speaker and a great motivator that talks about health and wellness and also psychological benefits as well, where do you speak now mainly?
I speak whatever event that I just happen to be. I don't have anything happen right now, but I did just get back from Sedona, Arizona, on.
What did you speak on in Sedona?
I spoke on my path of that I'm currently on with my ideas of eating and about food, and it was very interesting because the lady that went on before me, I did not know that she was going to speak on her journey on a vegan plant-based diet. So her title of her speech was "Peace Begins on Your Plate," and I'm like, oh great, this is going to completely contradict everything this lady's talking about, but this is my speech, and they obviously put me on after her for a reason, so I'm just going to go for it. So my whole thing was peace does not begin on your plate. That the whole time Hitler was in office, he was.
That's okay.
The whole time.
Just slow down. I mean, turning. I want you to with the camera here.
The whole time Hitler was doing his thing. He was a vegetarian, and then
Hitler was a vegetarian.
Yeah. And so I found that
He
piece
was?
out, and I go, this is such a great argument for anyone that says that peace begins on your plate. That peace does not begin on your plate. Peace begins in your heart. That we are all a product of our environment, and we've been conditioned to eat certain ways, and it's not by any consequence that some people don't think about the environment. Some people don't think about animals, and it's this meeting people where they're at was basically what my talk was about. Is that instead of setting the stage for people and ridiculing them for not stepping up as quick as you did, to meet them where they're at and allow them the space for their own evolution by educating people is what it was about. So it really had nothing to do with food. It had everything to do with psychology.
Okay.
You can hear that
That's
chair.
great, huh?
You can hear it moving.
No, I didn't. I did not know that Hitler was a vegetarian.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we grew up in the Hitler's cars with Ralph Engelstad. He had his cars right upstairs, didn't he?
Yeah, you sure
You know.
did.
So you do on the speaking.
But that was crazy growing up in that hotel, man.
Yeah, but it was fun, huh?
It was fun. I can't even people growing up.
In the Imperial Palace, he's talking about growing up in the Imperial Palace.
Yeah, people usually when you tell somebody, especially when I was growing up, if you live in Las Vegas at that age, I would always get asked, "Do you live in a hotel?" And it's such a ridiculous comment to make to someone, "Do you live in a hotel?" just because you live in Las Vegas, but we actually did live in a hotel.
You
Two
did.
suites joined together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so right now, the subjects that I want people to know you and to know your product, give them the address once more where Panacea is located.
750 South Rampart, Suite 15 in Boca Park. It's right next to the Cheesecake Factory, and it's a beautiful, spacious restaurant, 2 stories. We do have a liquor license coming. We're gonna have some fun drinks that do have liquor, which was something I did try to avoid. I was trying to create this nightlife scene that was called like a conscious nightlife scene where people can go, have a great time, live music without the booze, but meeting people where they're at. Las Vegas definitely wants their booze. So
Right.
in order for me to pick up my numbers in the evening, we decided to get a liquor license. But we have all kinds of events there. Once a month we have a thing called Conscious Conversation, which is where we drop a subject and let's see 2 sides of the story and meet somewhere in the middle. That's our most popular event. And then we do a thing that we're doing every Sunday now called Soul Food, where we have guest speakers come in and share a message. So it's like church for coming to get inspired and take that message home with you.
Soul Food. What time is that?
It hasn't happened yet, but it's coming. I think at the end of November, and it's going to be at 11 o'clock.
11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're just about done with our show. I want to say I'm so pleased to have been on with you. I'm so pleased at what you're doing, and I think a lot of people can benefit from what you're doing. And I think you have gone way above and beyond the call of duty to try to help other people besides yourself and your family, and everyone is extremely excited. I want to make sure that everyone knows his food is absolutely delicious, and the people come back and back. Every time I go out the door, I see the same person coming in again.
Yeah.
You know, and it's an amazing place. It's an amazing location, and I'm excited about your trip to Peru. And that's even going to be another expansion of you, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's going to be another extension of how you overcome and make things great for yourself.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you'd like to tell our audience?
Yes. If this video gets lost and dug up somewhere, 200 years from now, if I had a message to share with the world, it's not my restaurant, it's not my food, and it's not me. If I had one thing that is just as much for me as it is for you, is to let you know how proud I am of you.
Well,
that
thank
you
you.
have always been a backbone, a huge supporter, and I could bask in all my glory. But honestly, if it wasn't the support that I had from you through thick and thin, no matter what idea that it is I had growing up, from if I wanted to be an actor, or if I wanted to make a movie, or if I wanted to open up a restaurant, whatever it was, you were always right there. And I love you, and that's what being a good dad is all
And
about.
from father to son, we appreciate you watching. I love
Yeah,
you,
I
Shane.
love you.
Okay. Come back and see us. Thank you.